What if I told you that the heartbreak you're feeling right now isn't your enemy? What if I said the pain gripping your soul is actually a tool, an opportunity to forge yourself into something greater, something unshakable? This is the Stoic Guide to Surviving a Breakup. Here, you won't just learn how to overcome the agony of a broken heart. You'll rise above it, stronger, wiser, and more in control than you ever thought possible. Pain has a purpose, and we're about to uncover it. If you're ready to transform suffering into strength, if you're tired of being consumed by emotions and want to master the ancient wisdom of the Stoics to regain control, then this is a guide for you. Stay with me. This is your path to fortitude, and I promise it's worth every step. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss content that helps you master the art of Stoic living. Now, let's get started. Embrace the pain as your teacher. Breakups hurt. The sharp sting of loss, the heavy weight of loneliness. It can feel like your world is collapsing. But as practitioners of Stoicism, we must recognize that pain is not our enemy. Pain is a teacher. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a foundation of Stoic philosophy. External events do not control us. Our perceptions do. The breakup is an event. How you respond to it defines who you are. In moments of sorrow, the true Stoic reframes their perspective. This is not the end of you. It is the beginning of a transformation. Picture a blacksmith hammering iron into shape. Each strike is painful, but necessary for strength. Heartbreak works the same way. Instead of running from the pain, we lean into it, allowing it to shape us into individuals capable of handling even greater challenges. Avoiding pain only makes it stronger. It's like running from a shadow. The faster you flee, the larger it grows. By facing pain head-on, we strip it of its power. But this doesn't mean indulging in sorrow or self-pity. The Stoic acknowledges suffering but refuses to be ruled by it. As Seneca wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Every breath you take in the storm is an act of defiance, a statement that you are more than your suffering." The first step to healing is a mindset shift. Understand that pain is temporary, just like the changing seasons. What remains after the pain subsides is a stronger, more resilient you. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you'll find strength. After a breakup, it's easy to spiral into thoughts of what if, or if only. We torment ourselves with fantasies of how things could have gone differently. But Stoicism teaches us that much of life is beyond our control. What we can control, however, is our response. We cannot change the fact that the relationship ended. What we can decide is how we allow this reality to shape us. Do we fall into despair, or do we rise with renewed strength? This is where our power lies, in the choices we make moving forward. Clinging to the past only prolongs suffering. Letting go isn't surrender, it's liberation. It frees us from the weight of regret and opens a door to new possibilities. Epictetus advised, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." Acceptance is a foundation of peace. But how do we practice this in real time? It starts with shifting our focus inward. Instead of dwelling on the past or assigning blame, we center ourselves on what we can control. Our thoughts, our actions in the present moment. The Stoic does not waste time mourning what was. Instead, they build a mind strong enough to weather any storm. Only by releasing what we cannot change can we truly begin to heal. Mastering your emotions. After a breakup, emotions can feel overwhelming. Anger, sadness, regret all flood the mind, demanding attention. But here's the Stoic truth. Emotions are not to be feared, nor should they control us. Stoicism does not teach the suppression of emotions, but rather the governance of them. The goal is to be the ruler of our inner world, not its victim. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of emotional control, reminding us that while we may not always control our initial reactions, we do control how long we allow them to dictate our behavior. When emotions surge, observe them without judgment. Recognize them as natural responses, but do not let them define you. By mastering our emotions, we regain power over our lives. Breakups are painful, but they are also opportunities, chances to cultivate resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. The Stoic does not see heartbreak as a tragedy, but as a challenge, one that, if faced with courage, will lead to an even stronger version of themselves. Your suffering is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something greater. And if you embrace it with the mindset of the Stoic, you will emerge unbreakable. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. After a breakup, how often do we relive painful moments, magnifying them in our minds until they become unbearable? This is the mind running wild, unchecked, allowing emotions to dictate our reality. But the Stoic knows better. We cannot avoid emotions, but we can guide them, direct them toward useful ends. The first step in mastering emotions is recognizing that they're neither good nor bad. They simply exist. It is what we do with them that matters. When anger rises, we do not lash out. We observe it, understand its source, and choose our response. When sadness threatens to consume us, we do not drown in it. We acknowledge it, then redirect our focus to what we can control. A Stoic constantly asks, is this emotion making me stronger, or is it weakening my resolve? Mastery of emotions is not about becoming cold or detached. On the contrary, it is about experiencing emotions fully without allowing them to dictate our actions. It is about choosing to remain calm and composed, even when the world around us is chaotic. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The power to change how we feel is always in our hands. When the storm of a breakup passes, many find themselves adrift, uncertain of where to go next. But in the Stoic view, this is where real transformation begins. Heartbreak, in its rawest form, is an invitation to rebuild, not from the remnant of the past, but with a clear, new purpose rooted in virtue. Stoicism teaches that virtue is the only true good. Everything else, pleasure, pain, loss, is secondary. To heal from heartbreak, we must anchor ourselves in this principle. Virtue, for the Stoic, is defined by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the guiding lights that lead us out of despair. In heartbreak, we are often tempted to seek comfort in distractions, temporary pleasures, and unhealthy coping mechanisms. But these only delay healing. True recovery comes from aligning ourselves with our highest virtues. Wisdom reminds us that pain, like all things, is fleeting. Courage gives us the strength to face grief without running from it. Justice teaches us to act with fairness, even when we feel wronged. Temperance keeps us balanced, preventing indulgence in excess. In this pursuit of virtue, we rediscover our purpose. A breakup does not define us. What defines us is how we choose to respond, how we choose to live in alignment with our values. Marcus Aurelius urged, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In the context of a breakup, this means ceasing to dwell on what was lost and instead focusing on who we are becoming. We rebuild by turning inward and strengthening our character. This is a Stoic path to healing, finding meaning in suffering and using it as a catalyst for growth. The heart may break, but the spirit does not have to. By committing to virtue, we rise above pain and emerge not only healed but transformed. Acceptance is perhaps the hardest lesson to learn, especially after a breakup. Our minds resist change, clinging to what we know, even when it is gone. But for the Stoic, acceptance is not resignation. It is freedom. As Epictetus said, he who is not disturbed by that which is not his own, who takes no account of anything beyond his control, is free. After heartbreak, it is easy to feel trapped in a web of emotions and what-ifs. But these are chains of our own making. Stoicism teaches us to free ourselves by accepting reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. The relationship is over. That is the fact. We can mourn and grieve, but we must also accept. Resisting what has already happened is a battle we can never win. Accepting it allows us to move forward, unburdened by the past. Acceptance does not mean dismissing our emotions or pretending they do not exist. Rather, it means acknowledging them, understanding them, and then letting them go. Stoicism calls us to see life with clarity, to strip away illusions and perceive things as they truly are. A breakup, painful as it may be, is just one event in the vast sea of life. It does not define us unless we allow it to. As Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Acceptance stops us from wasting time on what cannot be changed and refocuses us on the future we can shape. In the end, acceptance brings profound liberation. We no longer need to cling to what is lost or dwell on what might have been. Instead, we turn our attention to what lies ahead. We find peace in knowing that, despite life's unpredictability and hardship, it is still ours to live. And in that realization, we discover the true freedom Stoicism offers. Not a freedom dependent on external circumstances, but one rooted deeply within ourselves. This is the path to healing, not just surviving heartbreak, but rising above it, stronger and freer than before.